welcome everyone. Welcome to the Tawnya Love Show and welcome back. I missed you guys last week because I was actually camping with my family on a 4th of July camping trip, which was awesome. We were up in Camp Sherman area and we actually got to sleep in an actual teepee. My beloved's family, his dad bought a teepee from the guy who made all the teepees for the movie Dances with Wolves. So I thought that was pretty awesome. And so we got to sleep in a teepee and lay under the stars and just camp, start our campfire and like hang out with family. It was really great. So hopefully you guys all had a really nice, relaxing 4th as well. And I'm glad that you're joining us live today. So thank you for joining us. Any of you that would like to call in or if you want to write in, again, just to remind you, you can go chat with us live if you type in your name or a nickname on the live chat. And if you want to call in, it is 919-518-9773. And feel free to call in if you want to ask any questions or share any of your stories with us today. How was your 4th, Amnon? Did you have a great 4th of July?
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
I was downtown, did a few ceremonies.
Nice. Did you guys have like parade and stuff?
It wasn't parades, it was just static ceremonies.
Gotcha. Cool. But you
But
had
yeah,
fun with your family?
oh yeah,
Yay. Well, good.
yep.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys all had a good time, and it was a different 4th for us this year because we're out in the woods where there's no burning allowed, no fireworks allowed, and I completely enjoyed it because I, for one, just my dog gets so freaked out with the fireworks, and it's just sad to me to see how it just scares her so much, and so it was really nice to be out in the woods and nature and just complete peace and not having all that chaos personally. But I hope you guys had fun no matter what you guys were doing on the 4th. But basically, this week I just taught a miracles manifestation class, a miracles magic and manifestation workshop, and I'm going to be offering another one in August, and I can't remember the date. I think I put it on Facebook, so if you guys go on and find me under Tawnya Love, you can see the event on there. I believe, let me see, I can look really quick, but I believe it's on August. I want to say like, let's see, August. Shoot, I'm not in the right month. August 14th. So if any of you guys want to join me, just send me some information. You can email me or go on Facebook, and then I can get your Skype information, or you can join our page. When I basically did like an event on Skype, and then people could join us. And it's from noon to 2 p.m. on Sunday, August 14th. So if you want to save the date on that. But I'm going to share a little bit of just like a couple of the notes that Spirit gave me in meditation to help you guys. And today's focal point for this connection, this little conversation, is going to be about how we work with our angels and our guides in everyday practical ways. And I feel like partly what I observe is I see people that feel like when they are, needing to cure cancer or there's something really seriously wrong, their child's missing or something like that. Okay, we're allowed to call in the angels. We can call in and ask them for help. But a lot of times people totally miss so many opportunities of times they could work with their team, their angelic team, in everyday practical ways. And so I just feel inspired today to just kind of have a very chill, open, intuitively connected, heartfelt connection on what I personally do and how I live with them, and that my angelic team are like my tightest family. And I feel that we can all really live in such a way if we start to tune into our connection with our source and with our angels, our source God, our connection, instead of thinking that we're just on a planet struggling to survive and we're on our own. And there's times where, yeah, there's really intense things happen and we want to call in our team for assistance, but there's just everyday mundane activities that we can also ask for their assistance. And so I was going to share a few stories with you of things that I've gone through and how I've moved through them and how my angelic guides helped me. And what I would love is if any of you feel inspired while you're listening to call in and share a story, or if you want to write one in, I would love to hear yours. Like, times that that your angels were helping you out with something, that that something was miraculous and that it was because of your angels that things worked out. So I welcome that input today if you'd like to share it. Um, so, just to start, a few things. Like when we were going camping last week, my beloved had come home and we were kind of in a, not in a rush, but we had an intention to leave at a certain time and it just wasn't happening. And so we got going a little later than we had expected, which turned out fine. But sometimes, we have our ideas of things and then spirit's got its perfect flow. And so he had gone to the store and he came back and he had this like bag of stuff from the store that was for camping and he had put it somewhere and he couldn't find it. And I feel like he was kind of frustrated because he was trying to hurry and we were trying to get somewhere and now he couldn't find the bag. And so I was like, baby, just ask your angels to guide you to it. And he was just like, oh, and so he went upstairs and he's looking everywhere. And so I just was, and this is just what I do. And it's nothing really magical. It's a letting go of your intellect. It's a letting go of thinking you have to understand it or figure it out, but just feeling summoned or feeling guided. And so I just kind of was like, angels, please show me where the bag is so I can get it and we can get on our way. Thank you so much. It was just a simple request. So I get this intuition to just walk outside. And so I walk outside, I walk around the house and I go into the garage. I turn to the right, walk over to these chairs that are over near our sprinkler system where we turn everything on. And there's the bag of stuff that he had and some other things that he had laid down next to it. And so I grabbed it, I take it into the house, I go upstairs, I'm like, here you go, baby, here's your stuff. And he's like, how did you find it? And I was like, I just asked the angels. I asked them where it was and they guided me there. Now, this is something that happens for me all the time, but I observe how many times like humans are resistant to asking for that support on something so simple like help me find my bag of stuff or help me find my car keys. And I just know in my heart that our guides want to help us with everything. There's nothing that is too small or too big for them. And so I think that if all of us could just reprogram ourselves away from thinking that we got to figure it out all on our own and start asking for divine assistance and support, it would make everything go much more smoothly, not even just for my personal life and finding our stuff so we can get camping, but like in the big picture, if all of us were connecting with our angels in these ways, we would have much more, support and connection instead of running around like chickens with our heads cut off, scurrying about, freaking out about something that we can't figure out on our own because we're so. I think what it is for me, just observing, it's like when we get into our ego, we're just in fear. We're in a sense of lack, and it's almost as if whatever we're looking for, we can't find it because we're in such a fearful, frantic energy that we just rush right past it. And so, in essence, like when I was teaching the workshop this weekend, the two energies that are available at all times are fear, which is our ego, and it's to go into fearful, frantic creation, or trust, which is higher self. Trust and tuning in that there is a higher solution. There is a possible solution. There is something in store for you that's beautiful if you tune in. There is an answer. There is the solution, the way to heal something, the fix is available. But so many of us go scurrying about trying to figure it out and think that we're on our own, that we get ourselves in trouble. So in that case, afterwards, I had talked to my love, and I love him, and I know he won't mind me sharing this with you because like we all have our moments. But afterwards, I was like, baby, like what was going on with you? And you just seem kind of freaked out. And he goes, I think I was just freaked out about the time. And so I was fighting time. And I was like, well, who won? And he was just like, what? But I was playfully showing that you're never going to win fighting time. You're never going to win when you're fighting anything. So today, no matter what's going on in your world and in your life, I totally have honor for it. And so do your angelic team, your angelic family. They support you. Your source loves you. Everything in the universe wants you to succeed and wants you to do well. But there is really a higher path for all of us. That is the higher way or the middle way, that middle aligned way. And then there's other freeways available where we can go off on our own and we can scurry about and we can get lost for a while. And then eventually we might come back and ask for that guidance and we get back in the middle way. So in a free will universe, we all have the freedom to make choices and to explore many paths. But there are, in every given moment, there is a path that is the middle way. There is that aligned path that would be the best one for you at this time. And a really simple way to maintaining that alignment is asking for that guidance day to day. Please, Spirit, show me the highest path at this time. What is the highest solution in this situation? Thank you for bringing me clarity and understanding. Thank you for bringing me signs I can't miss. That's one that I ask for a lot. And one of the things that I've observed that I think gets people in trouble is we have a lot of judgment, we have a lot of belief systems on what's right or wrong. And so when we get ourselves in these self created, by the way, judgments and self created belief systems, we really limit the whole. So there is a vast universe of possibilities and potential realities awaiting all of us. But there are realities that will be for our highest benefit and growth. And sometimes that might be losing something. Sometimes that might be gaining something. It's not always black and white. Sometimes a great gift can come to someone who has had great loss that they would not have understood as deeply if they were always winning. And so it's really understanding that from the bigger universal mind, the universal picture of things, the macro, that there is a higher solution for everything. Every single one of us, there's a higher path and a solution that is for your highest at that time. And that might be for your growth, your evolution. Sometimes great evolution and growth comes from times of loss or times of chaos where feels like everything's falling apart. That can be a really beautiful time if you trust that your spirit team has it all worked out for you and you listen. So it doesn't mean that we just sit around and that we're complacent and that we're, we don't do anything and we're passive. I've had a lot of, I don't know, I think it's just there's a lot of tension in the world right now. And I've observed some people kind of like on Facebook, just people lashing out more. And I feel like the fear of all this stuff going on in the media is getting people triggered, and then they're reacting, and then they're angry at people like myself that are just maintaining a balance, and we're not getting really hyped up or freaked out about it. We're just kind of like, yep, that's happening. Let's send love to that situation and let's keep focusing on what we love, keep focusing on what we're here to create and to shift instead of getting so triggered by the negative energy that you lose your alignment and you start to scurry around in fear. That is when the fear, the darkness actually is winning because we're actually submitting to it. So I really feel like if we can each practice just, observing the world around us, but stay daily connected with our source, which is why so much over the last 2 years while I've offered this show with Amnon, we've talked about meditation. Again and again, I've shared about getting that book, Getting into the Vortex, and helping you to understand vibrational alignment and how much that really is affecting your life. Um, but when we are in a state of receptivity, which I feel is the divine feminine in her finest, and it's not really a him, her thing, but it's a feminine energy. It's magnetic, it's receptive. And then there's the divine masculine, which is more energetic, electric movement. And the two energies are vital for any creation. They're both important energies and they both need to be accessed and balanced. And so, one of the things when I was writing my notes after my meditation that came up was, the steps of creation, the steps of conscious creation. And I came up with 4 steps of conscious creation. And the first step is stillness and listening. This is the meditation part. This is where we can wake up in the beginning of our day and we start our day slowly. Maybe we set our alarm so that we have 10, 15 minutes to just begin our day with very conscious awareness. And we listen. Spirit, how may I serve today? Show me, guide me, lead me to the ones who will benefit from what I have to offer. What is the solution to this predicament I'm in? Thank you for bringing me signs and, signs and symbols that I can't miss. Thank you for working out and taking care of all the details. And I thank you for guiding me in the most perfect way. And then we're listening, we're receptive, we're waiting for the in call. So it's kind of like you get on the phone and you call Source God, hey, God, I need some help down here on planet Earth. And then the meditation is you listening to what's coming back on the other end of the line. And I feel what I observe is that I see a lot of humans out there, the ones that are struggling and they're suffering, they're talking a lot and they're calling out a lot and they're, please, someone pray for me, and oh, I need help. But I don't observe them listening very much. And so it's just, we've talked about this on the show before. We want to get on and have the conversation. It's like a loop of conversation. It's like that infinity loop. So you're calling out and source is calling back to you. That is when you're going to find the highest guidance. So stillness is where we begin in that listening, receptive space. And again, this is for conscious creation. Now, if you want to keep creating unconsciously, by all means, have at it. Most of the planet's doing that. We see a lot of people that just jump up and they're trying to make it happen. They're spinning their wheels. They're not listening. They're telling the world how it's supposed to be. They're trying to make it and force it and move it in a direction. And there's a lot of effort and sometimes a lot of, drama. And sometimes these people could get to a destination. I was kind of joking with my class saying, we could have two different souls that want to be abundantly wealthy and that want to make a difference in the world. Like, I want to have a lot of abundance and live in a beautiful home, and I want to make a difference in the world. And then the other person's like, I want to have a mansion and I want to have a lot of money and I want everyone to love me and to celebrate me. And one soul is going to be very driven to like step on everyone to get to their destination. They're going to do whatever it takes. I'll do whatever it takes to get there. And wherever there is, and they will do a lot of things to get to this destination, but they will not have peace on that journey, nor will they have peace when they arrive at that destination. And they're always going to be seduced by the ego and controlled by it. The ego is always going to be telling them, you need more. Now you need more friends. You need more followers. You need more money. And so there's never a sense of contentment or peace or just like satisfaction. I think ego in its essence is a dis-ease. There's always a sense of dis-ease, like I'm not at ease. I need something that I don't have. I don't know what it is, but I need it. And so it keeps you spinning. And yes, you can create on that path. People do it all the time, but there is a consequence and a cost to that. And it really doesn't bring us what we deeply need and want at the deepest level, which I feel is a state of inner peace, a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. And so some humans might for lifetimes be on this path creating to the point where they finally kind of get exhausted by their own narcissistic ways, and then they're like, okay, I'm tired, like, please, what's the way? Show me the right way. Show me the aligned way where I feel peace, where I feel content. So there's this other path. And this path, let's say you have someone that they want to make a difference in the lives of others and they want to live in a nice house too, but they listen in the beginning of their day. They listen daily, moment to moment. They're listening to spirit guide them on the journey, and they're not in a rush. They don't need to have everyone, celebrating them. They're just doing their work. It's humble, it's gentle. They love what they do, and they keep showing up. How may I serve? And that soul also can arrive at a destination. They can end up manifesting the house of their dreams or the career of their dreams. But there's a sense of peace in them on the journey and at the destination. And in that soul knows there is really no destination, that it's always this perpetual, infinite journey with Source, and that the highest gifts that we're ever given is that sense of inner peace and fulfillment. So a lot of us have to kind of get ourselves right in our heads and in our hearts and realize that it's not about making a lot of money. It's not about getting a lot of fans or likes and, popularity, because that stuff will fade. It'll come, it'll go. But it's about living with integrity, living with alignment, living, with your source and trusting and moving. And it's, I call it the kind of the tortoise path. There's the sea tortoise that's just flowing and it takes its time, but it does arrive where it wants to go. And the sea turtles, interestingly, if any of you guys have watched Finding Nemo, you know that they talk about that current in the ocean, that the turtles actually get into that current. It's almost like a big vacuum and it just pulls them in a current to a destination. And to me, that is a soul using what's around them, using the force of the universe. They've tuned in and found ways to access some space that kind of moves them quickly along their path with the least amount of effort. And so we can see that in the world of sea turtle in the ocean and how they jump into that little portal that takes them across the ocean. But we as humans can also access that. There are some of us that can work really hard. We believe that the harder we work or the more we do, that it makes us have a sense of self, that we, earn our right, that we deserve to be respected more. But there is a path where we can do all the things that we want to do, but they can come in a way that feels more honorable and where we flow. We really honor the flow. We honor the receptivity, the listening, and the movement and the action, not just sitting around thinking, like, man, I got to be doing something to be, successful. I have to have a lot of this to be successful. True success is the sense of ease and peace and joy you feel in any given moment. And it's not about the amount of dollars in your bank account or the amount of people that are around you. Sometimes I've had to contemplate this for times where I can see people that are misleading humans so much that just it's like I'm like, how it's amazing that they have so many followers. But humans that are just like fearful and frantic, they're seeking that egoic fix wherever they can find it. And one day it's this person, and next day it'll shift to this person. But we need to really take our power back and realize that this connection, this true fulfillment and success comes from our oneness with source, from an inside shift. It's an inner job. And so I just wanted to remind that. And one of the things I saw on Facebook, someone shared, it says awakening Shakti, which is the divine feminine. When you awaken your full Shakti, you become an unstoppable force, not because you try harder, but because you are more radiant. You charm life by loving it rather than trying to overpower it. And I love that because it's the divine feminine at the finest. You're loving life with such reverence that life loves you back. You're not trying to stomp through and make people do it your way and throw in a tantrum and, I'm going to make everyone know who I am. I'm going to make them respect me. That is misaligned masculine. Misaligned masculine. I feel like it's kind of like the inner child wounded part of ourself that's throwing the tantrum, that wants the attention, and it's coming from a wounded aspect of ourself, and that is needed to be addressed. Healers like myself, that's what I love helping clients with, is helping them to heal that inner child so that they're no longer a toddler throwing a tantrum, needing the attention on them 24/7, needing everybody to give them their way, because that toddler never really feels happy when it gets its way under those circumstances. So we have to watch that in life. There is people on the planet that we are giving so much to, that are like little toddlers throwing tantrums, and we're participating in enabling that misalignment. And sometimes it might be us that's doing that. Maybe sometimes, some of you are throwing tantrums to get what you want. Maybe you go home and you're yelling at your family to do it your way and throwing a little tantrum to intimidate them into action. And that's not really the best way to do it. It's a balance of feminine energy and masculine taking action. So the first step was stillness, listening, and receptivity, divine feminine. The next is listen and set your intention. And I put listen again because I think just listen, listen, listen is really important. Keep listening and then set your intention. That's power. So you may have an intention, how may I serve? I'm a light worker and I love healing and I love assisting and supporting others. So my intention is I'm going to offer, we're going to have an intention of what we'd like to have. Let's say the intention is that I want to manifest the home of my dreams for myself and my family overlooking the ocean. And that's my intention. And I want to do it from a place of integrity, and I want to do it having fun and inspiring the world. Intention is set. The third step is feeling inspiration and then taking aligned action. So when you get that hit of inspiration that says, hey, I think that you should go and teach the world about this, and you could set up a workshop, and here's what you're going to call it. And you get that inspired feeling, and when you get it, because you get excited and you go do it. So like when I got the hit to do my goddess retreat that's coming up in September, I went to this place. We went to the coast, my beloved and I, and I'm at this place, and it just like every cell of my being is alive. And it's like, this is where we're going to do the retreat. I am feeling it so powerfully. And all I have to do is go and just set it up and put it out there to the world. And the ones who are ready are going to come. And I felt it so strongly. So I get back home, I get on my computer, I create an event, I put it out. And within 24 hours, I had almost every spot was signed up for. I have 4 spots left, by the way. So if any of you guys want to come, let me know because I'd love to have you. But that quickly, we had people that were like, oh my God, it's like I just heard a calling and then I put it out like, hey, I'll answer your calling. Who's calling? And then the ones that's hearts were calling for this were like, oh, that's what I've been waiting for. And then they answered. So when we feel inspiration, it's going to be really successful what we do, no matter how many numbers, by the way. My guides the other day were sharing that with me when I came out of meditation, because there's times that my human self will get frustrated when I see humans struggling and suffering, and they just keep doing it. They keep distracted. They keep, harping on the same stories. They just keep putting their energy into things that don't give them solution. And sometimes I get frustrated when I see people like, yeah, Tanya, I'm interested in this event. Yeah, I'm interested, but they never show up. So one day I was talking to Spirit about it, and what I got back was, in you live in a world that is so driven by numbers. Like in your society, you look at numbers as success. So if you have, so many people at an event, that's success. Or if you have so much money you make from that event, that's success. But there's times that there is maybe just that one or two or few humans that are going to work with you closely, that you're going to really impact a great change and shift in their lives. And that is success. It isn't about the numbers. And so it's really about being fully present with whoever shows up. And so what my guides were telling me is, all you need to remember is to focus on who is open, ready, and receptive. The ones who are open, ready, and receptive, you'll know them because they're going to show up. They're not going to make any excuses. They want to do this. They want to do their work. They want to go into a higher vibration, and they want what you have to offer. So you just look for those people, and then you give them your magic. You share your love and your gifts and your tools with them. And so that's what I do. But it's, there's times that we can get frustrated and we think that we're supposed to be something. That triggers ego. As soon as we start thinking we're supposed to be something, we're now in a sense of dis-ease. Now I don't feel ease and satisfaction for who has shown up. And it's something really important to remember, because it's very subtle, and it can take any situation that could be really powerful and beautiful and kind of taint it when we're not fully present because we think it didn't show up to our expectations. And so, like, I can't tell you how many times I've gone to teach a yoga class where there's maybe one person comes. Some days there's 8 and sometimes there's 1. But the times that there's 1, those have been really powerful, transformative classes where that soul and I really can connect deeply in a way that they wouldn't have even allowed themselves to connect if there was a group of people. So if you can kind of see that as being a mentor, however, whatever you're doing for a job, I really feel it's the same. It doesn't matter if you're, let's say you're a coach for an engineering group, or you're a soul coach, energy healer like myself, or if you're a personal trainer, or you're working like Amnon and you've got your own show, your network, and you're getting all these shows out. It doesn't matter what the job is, but these recipes, these 4 steps are really important for all of us to remember, to stay in a place of ease. We're accepting life. We're practical with what's in our life right now. We accept it and we appreciate it. And I'm going to tell you, that is the divine feminine magic, because when we're in a state of just joy and gratitude, and when we're just like, wow, there's 10 people here, I'm so grateful for those 10, that has this powerful effect of drawing in more. And so if we can keep that in focus, that we're just grateful for what's coming and we're grateful for all that will come, instead of feel like there's ever some place that we're failing. And then if you're looking at something, let's say you're just not enjoying your life, something that you're creating and you're not enjoying it, feel free to recreate it. Any moment, recreate it. Ask your guides for that support. Bring me guidance and understanding and clarity on the ultimate vision of my soul's mission. Like, I know I'm here to do important things and things that make me happy, and I want to help others. So please bring me the clearest vision of what that is. And then you again wait for inspiration and you take that inspired action. And so taking the inspired action is a big part of it. There's no passivity here. The feminine energy is the listening. The masculine energy is like, oh, I feel inspired. Let's go take action. And it's a balance of the two. I see a lot of men, and not just men, by the way, but I just see this more. A lot of the men, the male clients that I have, and then the partners of my female clients, I observe that they're often in very much a masculine energy of doing, even when they're exhausted and they really need to rest. And a lot of times that creates an imbalance, and it starts to even cause tension and friction in the relationship. So when I'm helping like married couples in counseling, and we're working through that, we're helping them communicate and, find the solution amongst each other. That's often going on where there's this misaligned energy that it's not even like it's a bad thing that they're doing. They've been taught, they've been conditioned to do this. We've been taught that we need to be in action, we need to be busy to look successful, to look productive. And that's not necessarily the highest success. I really, again, come back to success is peace, it's inner peace, it's joy. Are you having a good day? Are you enjoying your day? Are you peaceful within? That is the highest path. Everything from there will be a bonus. Like, as you're manifesting your dream job, I just been making these bracelets, which I don't know if you can see them very good, but I made these healing bracelets and necklaces, and I'm having so much fun making them. Like, I swear these stones are talking to me, and I just know what to put on each bracelet. And then I send it to clients, and the clients are like, Tawnya, this is so amazing. I love it so much. I can feel the energy, and it's amazing the stones you chose. Like, they're so perfect. And I don't make that happen like I have to prove it to them or I have to go and overthink it. I feel it. It's like a heartfelt thing. And it's amazing to me how I just got inspired one day to put it out there, and how all these people have called me and want orders. They're like ordering necklaces and bracelets. I have a couple that I'm sending to two women in Sweden that I'm so excited for them to get them, Kristen and so I'm going to be sending those to them. And so all this stuff that's happening, it's for me, my life, I just really feel it in the now, and then I take action. I don't have to overthink it or prove anything, and you don't need to think you understand everything about it to take a step into it. If I did that, if I had to know everything about talking on an internet show, or if I had to know everything there is to know about energy healing, or everything there is to know about working with angels, I could use that as an excuse to procrastinate and to stay stuck and to take no action because, oh, I'm not good enough yet. I'm not worthy yet. I don't know if I know enough yet. That you can waste a whole life in that space. So you want to take that inspired action. When something moves you and excites you, take action. You are going to learn everything you need to know as you need to know it. I can say that just from, you're going to learn that from experience, but I can say that to you as a fact from how I've lived my life, that as you say yes to life, life will help you with everything you need as you need it. The fourth step is focus on your desire with ease, eagerness, excitement, and gratitude. So you want to now stay focused on your desire. So you're grateful every day with what you have, but you're focused on where you're going and you're excited. So I kind of made a reference in the class, the workshop, of if we're going to Seattle and I'm here in Vancouver and I program into my navigation, I want to get to Seattle, and I set my destination, I know how far I have to go. And then the next step is I now set my intention, that's setting the destination. Now I need to take action. I feel inspired to go to Seattle. I was listening and then I felt inspired. So now I have to get in the car and I have to start driving. And so sometimes people have goals, and I made a reference in the class of, like, let's say we wanted to lose weight. If we wanted to lose like 20 pounds, and you know where you are, and you want to be over here 20 pounds lighter. That's your inspiration. You've got your inspiration, your intention has been set. Now you need to now take a step each day that gets you in the direction of 20 pounds lighter. So maybe one day you wake up and you're inspired to go work out and do some cardio and do a little bit of weight training. The next day might be different. The next day might be like, oh, I feel like I'm going to go do a yoga class. I need to stretch, and maybe I'll do a little hike later. The next day, you're really focusing on your nutrition, you're improving that, you're staying hydrated. But each day, you're putting energy into the goal of where you're headed. What I observe people do a lot is they'll say, okay, I want to drop 20 pounds, but they'll start maybe working out for 2 days. They'll get in the car for a little bit, and then they just like, oh, this is so impossible. It's so hard. I'm never going to get there. And it's like you turn your car around and you go back to Vancouver. You're never going to get to Seattle if you keep turning around and going back to Vancouver. So if you're, the most mundane activities, I'm trying to break it down for you. If it's losing 20 pounds, it's just consistently getting in the car and making forward progress in the direction of your destination. So the things that come up for us that are going to trip us up, I observe, are we need dedication, not distraction. So how many of us have a feeling of true dedication to our path, and we're focusing and we're going towards our goal. And then how many of us will start that and then we're like distracted? We're over here, we got to save our family, or we got to take care of this, or we got to do that. And the next thing we know, our day is gone and we still haven't worked on our goal. We haven't gone anywhere near Seattle. We're just sitting on the freeway, distracted by all the traffic. And so that's not going to get you anywhere either. So we really need to be dedicated. And I say this because I have soul coaching clients and like yoga students and healing clients, that the ones that I see make progress, the ones that actually have leaps and bounds in their growth, which it's all about growth and evolution, they are the ones that are dedicated to their healing. They're dedicated to their path. They're dedicated to doing their work. As a guide, I can only guide them and give them tools to empower them. I can't do their work for them. And I can't tell you, sadly, this has happened a few times, but I think it's part of the job when you're a soul coach or if you're a personal trainer or anything like that, that you're doing everything you can to inspire others. But then they get to a place where they have to really look at their life and they have to really look at, they need to change some things. They need to change some behaviors that they're, going through every day, their choices of behaviors. They need to shift something. And then they don't want to. They're like, I don't want to do that work. That's too much for me. I don't want that. I just want to continue to be ignorant or lazy or insecure or selfish or whatever it is they want to continue to be. And so they just stop listening to that guide and then they turn on the guide, and now the messenger is their enemy, and they fire the messenger, and then they want to go find a new one. And that really isn't going to serve any of you either. I encourage you to find a soul coach, a personal trainer, whatever it is that you're working towards. Find a teacher, an assistant who you really resonate with, and dedicate to that teacher and to yourself. Dedicate to that path. I was thinking of like Star Wars when Yoda and Obi-Wan, like they train Jedi. And in the whole universe and all the galaxies, they only work with a handful of Jedi. And it really, put things into perspective as far as don't be too concerned if not everyone wants to work closely and intimately, but really focus again on the ones who are open, ready, and receptive, because those are the ones that are going to have leaps and bounds in their evolution that could become amazing leaders, future leaders one day, future healers and teachers. So it's something for, as if any of you are listening, are guides or your tutors or your coaches or anything like that, focus on the ones that are open and ready. Make sure you're focusing on your goals as well and that you're moving towards them, because that's important. But stay dedicated and just keep affirming that you're receiving clients that are dedicated to their path and their work, because that's going to be way more fun than working with people who are constantly making excuses. And I'm very patient. I feel like I'll tune into people so many times like, hey, you said that you're interested in yoga. I was just going to invite you to class. Are you interested in coming? But after, 5, 10 times that they just keep saying, oh, I'm busy. Oh, I can't. I realize they're not dedicated. They're not serious. They're just trying to kind of drain my energy by pretending, hey, Tawnya, I'm interested. And yeah, I'm interested in talking about it, but not actually doing anything about it. So you want to watch that, because where you put your focus is going to give you either more power or it's going to drain your energy. So I would encourage you to watch that. So dedication rather than distraction. And the next is commitment and consistency. So that dedication, that commitment, and that consistency. If you are wanting to get to Seattle in the most effective and efficient way, you're going to keep progressively moving towards Seattle as quickly as you can, but also taking breaks when you need them. Fill up your gas tank, use the restroom, whatever. It's symbolic. But you want to be consistent. Otherwise, it's going to take you a year to get to Seattle. And you could take a year to get there. So if someone's wanting to lose 20 pounds, the consistency is a huge factor in how they're going to achieve that. And we can work with our angels and guides to help us with this. Like, show me the most powerful thing I can do today that will get me closer to my intention. What is that thing to do today? And then feel it intuitively. Listen. And it might be, today you're just going to rest. You just need to meditate and you need to chill and let your body rest and renew. And you do that. It's not creating an addiction. I see people who they can lose weight. Again, there's many paths to these goals. We could lose weight. We could take fat burner pills and we could work out like freaks and we could, starve ourselves and only eat chicken breast. And you can get to that goal, but how long can you sustain that? And are you pissed off? Are you at peace? And I'm saying this from experience because I've been there. But when you're on that path, getting to a destination is not the most important thing. It's how you're getting there. So if this person's on another path, also wanting to get their body in shape, they're eating healthy, they're working out, they're watching the balance of that. One day they're doing a lot of cardio and weight training, and next day they're doing yoga and they're resting. It's a balance thing. And that is going to get you to that goal in a more efficient and powerful way than if you force it and try to make it happen. And I say this because as a person that I've been a personal trainer and taught fitness for over 18 years, and I've watched people do the yo-yo diets. I've watched them go and just burn it out, like burn themselves out, work so hard, and then they hit a wall and they just totally get an injury, and then they can't do anything, and then they go to depression, and it's back and forth. There really is a middle way, and it's not as flashy and exciting. It's not the new crazy rave of exercise, that people are doing without any consequence to the outcome. I have seen so many people who have like been raised in gymnastics or ballet that were forced to make it happen. You push through, you work hard, you no pain no gain, and they can get away with that for a time. But later in life, there's consequences. There's clients I've had that have serious arthritis and injuries in their body from all of that stuff they did earlier in their life. So it's just, we want to get to our destination, but in a place of, I would say, in the direction of alignment and integrity. We want to get there where we have peace within and where we love our life. I personally feel like if you're working out, and like I said, I've taught fitness for a long time, but I see people at the gym, and if they just feel like they're going to puke and they go and they have a headache because they overheated and they just feel like shit, that isn't really the highest goal with exercise, at least not for me. The highest goal is that you feel better. The reason we want to exercise is because we want our bodies to feel better. We want to feel better. So if what you're doing is pushing in such a hard way that you're making yourself feel worse, check into that and adjust it. That's all it is readjust. Um, the next thing is excuses and procrastination. I observe that so many times with clients. They make excuses, they procrastinate. They'll say, "Oh, I really want to quit smoking. I got to go have a cigarette because I'm just stressed." And I'm like, "You don't really want to quit then. If you really wanted to quit smoking, you would stop because you would know, I know this is not good for me, and now I'm going to dedicate myself to a healthier path." And you would quit. And I know people have done that. They quit cold turkey, they just move in a new direction. There's no trying, there's doing. Like Yoda says, there is no try, only do. Do or do not. So if you're making excuses why you don't have time to get to yoga, or why you don't have time to work with a healer, or why you don't have time to go work with your personal trainer or work out at the gym, or you don't have time to eat healthy, you don't have time to meditate, you're lying to yourself. You do have time. We all have the same allotment of time. It's just many of us are in a script that we keep playing out again and again, saying we don't have time, we don't have money, we don't have something, and we're making excuses and we're procrastinating. It's not going to empower you to do that. So check into that if you're doing that. And again, we come back to, are we under the seduction and control of our ego? We have fear. Or are we in the energy of trust, working with our higher self? So when you're working with your angelic team, you are in a place of trust. That doesn't mean that everything works out. Well, I'm going to say it does work out for you, but it doesn't mean everything's perfect in your life. I definitely have had things in my life that were challenges that by all no means were they called perfect, meaning everything's rosy, but they were perfect in whatever I needed to evolve and grow. And whatever came to me, I knew to work with my guides to help me get there. So another quick story I'll share with you is, and I might have shared this in the past on the show, I don't remember. I have so many of these, but another time that comes to mind is I was at the DMV with my son, and we're trying to get his license because he finally got a job, and he needed to have his license because he was going to be a driver, and he had lost his license for a short time, and the window had come to where he could get his new license, and it was months that we were trying to get his license because they hadn't got the paperwork in Olympia. And I kept going to DMV, and they're like, "Nope, they haven't got the paperwork. We don't know. You'll have to just you resubmit it or wait." And I was like, "This is crazy." So after 3 times of going to the DMV, which is not the most fun place to typically hang out, but we went there 3 times, I finally was frustrated, and I realized I had been in human mode of just trying to figure it out and trying to make it happen myself. And we do this with things. We sometimes try to just do it without remembering, wait a minute, I've got this amazing team that could help me. And so this particular day, I walked over after the people were telling me the same script, like robots, that they couldn't help us. And I sat down and I was just kind of closed my eyes and I was like, Angels, I need you to help me. What do we do? Because he needs this license to get this job and this job's important for him. So we need your help. What do we do? And I just kind of sat there quiet for a minute. And what came through in consciousness was just wait a few minutes. A new girl is coming and she is not as programmed and she can help you. And so I was like, okay. So I just kind of sat there. I waited a few minutes and then suddenly this girl walks into the DMV and she walks around behind the counter. I want to say her name was like Megan or something. But anyhow, she walks around behind the counter and I get up and I walk over because I just feel it like that's her. So I go over and I'm like, hi, I just want to ask you a few questions. Could you help me with the situation? And I explain it to her. And she's like, yeah, sure, no problem. Just give me a minute and I will come back and I'll help you. And not a robotic response. I was like, holy crap, thank you. Because she was new. She hadn't been programmed to tell me the script, which was so refreshing. So then she comes back. We call Olympia, and this is really boring, mundane stuff, but I'm making a point with this. She calls the Olympia office and she's trying to find out about my son's paperwork, and there's no paperwork to be found. And so, what comes into my consciousness was ask her to look in the other pile. There's another pile, and they placed it in the wrong pile. So, I tell the girl, hey, could you check and see if maybe they put it in the wrong pile? Like, is that a possibility? So, she asks the girl, then we're waiting, and sure enough, the lady gets back on the phone and she's like, oh, we found it. You're right. It was in the wrong pile. That's amazing. And so this solution could only come from going into that field of consciousness to go and access higher consciousness to help me understand something I could not see physically or understand physically. And because I tuned in and asked, I got the assistance I needed, and then my son got his driver's license. That stuff is pretty important day to day. I think these are the kind of things that stress moms and dads out and humans out most of the time are these simple things, but you can ask for the help in anything. There's times where my ex-husband used to get pulled over for speeding a lot, and I one day I was just like, you just need to be polite and just visualize that you're gonna get a warning. And because he would always get pissed, me like, God damn it, I'm gonna get a ticket, I just know it. And he would. And so this one day I was like, I'm gonna visualize that they're gonna give you a warning. Visualize with me. Let's thank the angels for assisting you. And I feel like they're giving you a warning. You need to slow down and just thank them for the assistance. And he was like, oh, whatever, because he didn't really honor what I was about. But I still held that focus and that intention. I closed my eyes. I'm like talking to my angels, hey, could you please give a warning here and just help him and help him to slow down and not give him a ticket. So the officer, I visualized him coming up and saying, hey, you just need to keep an eye on that speed, and I'm just going to give you a warning today and take care. Well, I didn't visualize the take care of the family part, but I just saw that. And a few minutes later, the cop comes up to the window and he looks in and he goes, I'm just going to give you a warning today. You need to keep an eye on that speed. And you got a nice wife over here you need to think about taking care of. And I was like, oh my God. It was like almost word for word what I had asked for. And then he kind of even honored me in saying that to my ex husband. And I'm telling you guys this because every single thing that you're going through, there is a higher consciousness that you can tune in and access. You can ask for the help. There's times I've been a mom that I'm freaked out. I don't know where my kid's at. And I have a human moment. I don't have long human moments anymore, meaning where I go into fearful, egoic, frantic creation. But I have them occasionally, like, oh God, I hope everything's okay. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I'm just going to go be still and I'm going to ask and listen. And I would ask, is Hunter okay? Please let me know. How's my son? I'm quiet. Hunter's fine. He's being Hunter. He's avoiding you, but he will be calling you shortly. And I'm like, okay, thank you. And sure enough, he calls me within the hour. And these are things that we all can do. There's times I have been broke down on the road and we ran out of gas. And I sat there, my ex husband gets out and he's walking, he's pissed off. And I'm like, Angels, we need a helper. Could you please bring someone to help us with gas? A couple minutes later, a good friend of mine rolls up next to my car. Tanya, what are you doing sitting here? I just had a weird intuition to come down this road. That's so weird. And I'm like, no, you're my angel. They've guided you. And then she gives me a ride to the gas station. This kind of stuff happens to me all the time. I will go into town and I know that I'm heading into Portland and I'm going to a nice restaurant that there's probably crowded plate, it's probably crowded. So I'll be like, Angels, I thank you for giving us a nice clear path because we have to be there at this time. And I thank you for having a spot up front for us so that we can park. Like if I have a workshop and I have to carry things, I'll be like, please have me a spot up front where I can just carry everything in easily. And if I remember to do it, I'll get there and sure enough, there'll be a spot available. Will and I were just on a date maybe a few weeks ago, and he's driving around Portland looking for a spot. And, sometimes I'm just kind of going for the ride and I'm not thinking about things. And I suddenly look up and I'm like, baby, what are you doing? He goes, oh, I'm just looking for a parking spot. It's really crowded out today. And I go, oh, I'll just ask the Angels for one. Like, I didn't even think of that. So I'm like, Angels, it'd be really great if you could give us a parking spot close to where we're going. Within like a minute, he had turned and looped, and a person pulled out and he pulled in. And then I want to say the license plate on the back of the car was like 777 or something, which I always see those as signs that the angels are communicating when there's those triple numbers. And I was like, that is so perfect. Like we pulled in and there's the license plate. So it can be very fun and playful. And the reason I feel inspired to say this to everyone today is that I feel like we are being tested right now and we are all being given whatever we need to wake up. And the world is kind of crazy right now. There's a lot of crazy energy, but we have a choice to participate in that crazy or to just let that crazy stuff work itself out and we can stay awake and aware. We have a choice to go into fear, doom and gloom and get heavy, or we have a choice to stay higher vibration. We have a choice to look for the good and look for the beauty and we will find it, or we have a choice to look for what's going wrong every day. Tune into the news, see what else is going wrong in the world. Ah, God damn it, I knew it, something's going wrong. And then we can talk about that. So just use your energy consciously. And if you're feeling stressed or frustrated or afraid, start to tune into your higher self. Start to ask your angels for support and assistance and listen to them. They may clear people from your life. They may encourage you to shift your life completely in a new direction for your own well being. Trust them. Trust that whatever's for your best is falling away and whatever is for your best is coming in. And really, that is all we really need to do. And then enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey. You know, live with our integrity, do your best, be impeccable with your word. That's why I was talking to my daughter the other day about the book, The Four Agreements, which I've read so many times. But I was just talking with my teenager and I'm like, don't take things personal. Do your best, be impeccable with your word. Don't make assumptions. Like, that is what the world has programmed people to do, to create drama. So we have to consciously choose to not participate in that. All of that stuff is happening within and without. So if you feel like stuff is triggering you and you're angry and you're freaked out, go inward and clear it from the inside out. We all have to do our inner work. And it's going to help us with ascension. And we can't be depressed and grateful at the same time. So every given moment you're choosing, are you grateful or are you depressed? Are you thankful or are you irritated and angry? We have to choose where we're putting our focus. And it doesn't mean that things won't happen that we need to deal with and we need to face them, but you don't need to put a lot of energy into a story or into drama or into hating something. Just go deal with it, face it, and raise the vibration and keep working with your angels and your guides. They're like best friends. I think some of us might need to shift our understanding and our belief system about what an angel is, what our angelic beings and guides are, our ascended masters are. It's like your best friends. You can talk to them like family. You don't need to be all formal. It's not like you're taking them away from important work. And so, are you worthy to ask for their assistance and support? I feel like all that is coming from old religious programming. And if we can get that cleared, which that happens to be my specialty, by the way. So if any of you need help with clearing, you need help with soul coaching, call me. Dedicate yourself to your own aligned life. Dedicate and commit to a path of peace and fulfillment. And I promise you, you will be wealthier, healthier, and happier than you've ever been. Abundance will come, and it doesn't only come in the form of money. It comes in the form of beautiful relationships. It comes in the form of self-love, loving yourself, and having an empowered life. So I talked for almost an hour straight. It's 5:55. Has anybody written anything in, Amnon?
Well, Pegasus is asking, and you have to go way back.
Uh-huh.
But the steps say, is there a risk of being out of alignment if you place your intention in step one rather than step two?
Okay, read that one more time?
Is there a risk of being out of alignment if you place your intention in step one rather than step two?
No, not at all. I feel like it's just the listening part. The reason I put that first is just instead of thinking first that we just go get busy, like some people will just go out and they'll be busy spinning, trying to find a job without setting an intention of what they even want to do. And they can spin and spin and even find random jobs, but then they'll work at those jobs and they're not fulfilled and then they're looking for another. So I would say listening and asking for guidance of what is the highest and best for you is a great place to begin, but then your intention is what you feel in your heart that you're desiring. So let's say you know that you want to be a veterinary and you want to help animals, and you know that it's in your heart, you feel it. Then it would be, Spirit, guide me in the swiftest and most amazing direction to fulfill this goal. And so that's the listening part. So you could set the intention of being a vet first and then listen, or you could listen and know that that part kind of, they can go together. I feel like they're kind of the same. The listening and then the setting the intention, they work together. So there would be no risk in being out of alignment because you set an intention first. It's just if you are just, wanting to get to some destination without a higher awareness, you can get there, but you may just distract yourself for a while. Like you might really race over here thinking that's where you need to be because you didn't bother listening to your true heart's desire. And you could do a lot of work. Like they wrote a book called Who Moved My Cheese, and they used it in a lot of like corporate businesses, like helping understand that you need to move and evolve with the times. And you could spend a lifetime climbing a corporate ladder without listening, and then get to the top of that ladder and look down and be like, what the shit have I done? Like, where am I? Why am I at the top of this ladder? I don't even want to be on this ladder. I want to be way over on that ladder. So I would say the listening part, being still and knowing that you are God, source God, oneness, would be a great place to begin. Just beginning any journey from a place of listening is going to be more empowering than you thinking you know best without feeling it and just going into action. And so it's just, checking in that you're not an ego, but you're actually in alignment with your higher self. I hope that answered that question.
Yep, he says, thank you, Tanya.
Thank you. So I drew a couple
And
cards. Yeah.
Melchior says,
Okay.
excellent show.
Thank you. I'm glad that you liked it. I hope that this really helps you guys. So I drew a card that's called Let Go, and it's with an angel. It says Let Go. And I love this one because I feel like so many people struggle in letting go. They freaking have a death grip on their life. They've got their plan, god damn it, and they've got their ideas of how things should be, and they death grip it. They squeeze that hose that source connects them with, and they pinch off their oxygen source. They pinch off their every goodness. And letting go is such a powerful and courageous act because in a world where we're taught that we got to figure it out and we got to know our plan. What's your business plan? What's your 10-year plan? What are you going to be when you grow up? Like, we're asked this stuff all the time. You don't need to know that. You need to just know where you want to authentically be right now and have a sense of your higher soul mission of where you're going. And that's going to move you in very different directions. So letting go, in essence, is teaching us surrender. So we surrender to higher source. We're not trying to tell source how it should be. We're trusting that the higher source knows the best for us. So we let go and let God. Wayne Dyer talked about that all the time. Let go and let God. We want to not be an ego, which is edging God out. We're edging out God. We're edging out source God's guidance because of ego. And if we let go, whoa, what was that? Are you playing music? Is that saying it's almost time for the show to end?
Yep.
Okay, I was like, what is that? It was like some tribal beat. So do I have time to read this card, Amnon?
You have about a minute or less.
Okay, I'm going to read this card, guys. So let go. This time has come to let go of the situation, to stop focusing on how or when it will be solved or why it even occurred. Relationships are unhealthy or unfulfilling should be released in order to allow something better to come along. So this is where we have to let go of stuff that's not serving us so that we can make space for what's best. Don't worry. Stop worrying, guys. It is a waste of your energy and life force. Source God and your angels have everything under control. Trust. A key aspect to manifesting your desires is to ask for what you want and desire and then release it to your angelic team. If you've drawn this card, you may be holding on too tightly to the way your dreams will unfold. Let go. Make a wish and then leave the rest to your angels. And that's what I love doing is, angels, thanks for taking care of all the details, and then you let go. So thanks, guys, for joining me today. If any of you want to work with me as a soul coach or with some auric clearing work, which is absolutely fascinating and powerful, find me on Facebook or you can send me an email. And thank you for joining us today. Good luck this week. I encourage you guys to talk to your angels daily, ask them for guidance, listen more, and I look forward to tuning in with you all live next Sunday. Have a beautiful and blessed day. Mwah! Namaste.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, My Life, My Will with Gisela DiCarlo, The Tawnya Love Show, Health Then with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Triangle Be Well with Howard Jacobson, Lunch and Learn with Rabbi Yisrael Cutler, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, Current Affairs with Amnon Nissan. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section on nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Atomos.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.